are being forced not to play here by TNC for some reason.
They don't want to see the billion moves in action. They're limiting so much of James Panks and his movements, and it seems like the farming patterns are more efficient for TNC this time around, but there's another successful ejector play coming from Yaoi, but he will be the first to be taken out. Tekadon will follow as well, but James Panks will use her, but oh no, there's a flicker from Kozen, and he still makes it, and here comes Saida as well, taking out Top Skirt. There's a flicker from him, but he won't be able to survive. They're still jumping in, will be able to take the trade onto Kozen, but there's a Terrified, there's a flicker as well, and this might just be the disengage, unless Saida still wants to go for it. Evil Queller, he won't be able to continue anymore.
TNC Pro team now. So what you see is AP Brand realizing that, you know what, if Kekadot's going to be putting himself in some danger and maybe get picked off, we got to be ready to respond. You know, if anything happens, if Yaoi decides to flicker in, toss him back, we got to be ready.
Oh, is this another toss? Another one? Oh my goodness, he didn't even need to do anything aside from the Evil Queller.
It felt so easy. Every time that Unstoppable Force is off cooldown, it feels like Yaoi can just take it non-stop. But at the trade here, it is AP Brand with that turtle.
Say what you will, Yaoi on the jawhead, literal throwback.
I cannot imagine how annoyed AP Brand are right now with the constant ejectors, even onto the tankiest members, even onto the front lines. It feels like TNC, they're just that confident because they have enough damage to deal with those tanky frontliners.
Yeah. You're even happy to commit a flicker just to be able to throw someone. That's Yaoi for you.
Yep. Good old pickoff style, run and gun, all speed play style that Yaoi showed and excelled with to make sure he would win a world championship. Thunderbelt already there on the Badang quite early. Glowing wand for the Vexana. It's a talisman for the Selena. Here's the two gold laners, only up to one item each. Hunter Strike on the Granger and Starlium Scythe on the Harith.
Yeah, and it seems like they're typical Warriors first, but will that be the best way to go? Since TNC is really aggressive at this point, and they might not be able to sustain much of the team fights if ever TNC keeps going at it with this pacing.
The threat of doing that over and over again is your enemy kind of just gets wary. He gets used to your movements. Like every time you flare up, they just know you're going to go in. So I wonder if that's going to come into effect here in this game.
TNC now committing a 4-1 split, sending James Panks top side, while Zyda's doing the same, managing the far lane for TNC Pro team, and AP Brand have wisened up and adjusted to Yaoi's aggressive posturing as they now try to make sure that Kekadot has some help nearby, and Chove Skirt is actually getting helped out by Dare in the mid lane to clear it out faster, but up top, Panks!
Oh, they're gonna trap him here under the turret, and even under the turret, take him out! Zyda's now unstoppable, and they meet, the junglers meet in the top lane!
So it seems like they are doing exactly what we thought they were. They're stopping James Panks from even going into the map.
Even getting the trades!
Yeah, Zyda showing off his experience. Oh, yeah, we get stunned!
Oh, will he be taken out here? Will the damage be enough? That's another ejector onto Kekadot, and the Salmon Force, the damage is there, but the Glorious Pathway might be able to allow him to escape, but there's Respo from Lord JM, as well as Lancy with a flicker. They are being so confident right now.
Absolutely good response there from their opposing side here. And don't forget, top lane's also getting pushed in. All that gold going over to Zyda as well. 5-0 and free right now on the Suyo.
Yeah, he's really showing off his experience as an MPL champion, a two-time, a back-to-back MPL champion, and finals MVP as well in Season 2. So Zyda really just showing why before James Panks got here, he got here first.
Oh. And they're literally not allowing him to even farm. I couldn't be exactly sure as to how much gold difference is currently existing between these two junglers, but even just in terms of levels, looking at it, that's a 2-level gap immediately. Yaoi, will he go for another ejector play? James Panks is already here, using the electrifying beats onto Yaoi, and there goes the beautiful Deathly Grasp alongside the Eternal Guard. Kekadot will try to run away, Kozen takes out there, but there's the Conceal, and they might just be able to escape, but Dare will not be able to live.
TNC Pro team, the lineup that they brought up here, up against a team making their debut in the MPL. Of course, yes, Kekadot and Dare are coming back to the MPL, but they are a debuting team. They show up with a lineup that are just smothering you. We know what Jawhead brings to the table, paired up with his physical defense shred with the Suyo. We know what Suyo does. We know how well just Harith can be annoying to deal with if you don't get to shut him down early. So that's what they decided to draft against AP Bren. Smother them.
Will the damage be enough this time, though? Those are 2 episode arrows consecutively hitting Yawi,
Wow.
but he still has the flicker, and that's a beautiful counter engage coming in from Lord JM! And now kicking on as well will be a double kill for Kozen!
How do you play if you're if AP Bren here? It's so hard to actually even move out of the map, and even when you think you're gonna get the kill, you get denied.
And another denial as well for James Pants himself. This first Lord might just really go into the hands of TNC. I mean, even recalling what happened earlier, it seemed like the perfect moment for AP Bren to go in. Yawi was so low, the flicker was forced out. But how could you not anticipate that counter-attack coming in from Lord JM?
They got baited into that. The fist break paired up with Eternal Guardian. Lord JM and Lancy were just watching. AP Brent said go. Lord JM said no. And Lancy said, y'all are gonna get blown up. What a counter by TNC.
In basketball term, that is called deny.
Yes.
It's a huge block.
Yes, it
Right?
is.
It's just no going around it. That was a good response from Lord JM this time around.
It's like, you know, when LeBron James is a really good block, he go, blocked by James. I said, blocked by JM.
Lord J, isn't he Lord J?
Why do I want to say that later?
Maybe later.
Maybe if it happens again.
If it happens again.
But hopefully for AP Bren, it doesn't. Holy Shields are about to pop right now since there's a minion in the middle lane. And they still have a Lord marching up top.
I really gotta say, Lord James or Lansing, if they win this, either of them have to be the MVP. Let's see if he can do it again.
Up front.
Wait, the episode arrow connects onto Kozen, but they still won't go for it. Yawi kind of low. Oh, they just need one more hit. And then might be a successful defense from AP Bren. They eliminated the threat of another ejector play from Yawi.
Nice sidestep as well from Lancy, being very aware. But then, that's AP Bren basically denying the attack as well. No Lord push happening today.
Yeah, TJ Pro Team has Balloon. This is like old school Echo Express playstyle that we're seeing with Yawi on the jawhead again with a throwback. Oracle, second item for the Badang, rushing the cooldown reduction. Great itemization. Same as well here for Zyda, knowing he got the snowball, already got the BOD, and the Blood Wings for the Vexana. Still waiting on the items, or the second item of the Selena. Gonna be a while.
Whoa.
Dominance Eyes only for that high loss.
They're still on second item for their middle laner.
Yeah.
So that's just
Nasty.
how difficult the situation is for AP Bren, whereas their junglers are like 4K
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, and James Banks is struggling to get any farm, any XP whatsoever.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it could have been better, but I wish I was an Aurora. You're up against little phoenixes. How do you put out fire? Use some ice. No.
That's logic.
Yeah, I'm just using basic common sense right now.
Unless the ice does melt, and then
But-
you're
and again,
getting
look,
slippery, bro.
yeah, it would have been so great right now if they had the frigid glacier as
yes.
the counter engage
Agreed.
to the eventual entry of Lord James. Imagine if Lord James there is like, ha, I get to fist break you. If that was an Aurora, suddenly, wait, why is there ice forming underneath my feet? He gets frozen. The counter engage of TNC is a little bit tougher. Yaoi might not be able to escape. It's going to be harder for Kozen as
Yeah,
well.
That's true. And maybe some of these Granger shots will sink in even more.
Yes.
Even easier to hit the shots.
Yeah, I mean, all the range that AP Bren has right now, they couldn't really maximize it to its full potential. TNC just keeps closing the gap. So even when you want to like poke them from afar, even for just a moment, that doesn't really happen anymore. TNC just keeps going for it, but could something happen here for AP Bren? Oh, maybe not for them because TNC will be the ones to start the fight once more. There is down for them and they're in full control of the Lord Pit. Kekadot, will he be able to find a way for his teammates to go in? That's
Gonna
another
try.
angled arrow from Chop Skirt. Yaoi is quite low and now they know that there is no ejector. Oh, Yaoi gets taken out by the Lord. James Max finds a way in, but it's too late. Zyda already secures the Lord. Kozen takes down Kekadot. James Max dashes out of that fist crack, but Zyda's still chasing for him. But the Lord immediately spawns too.
Okay, Zyda's not letting James Banks go home. He wants to
Chase
shoot
it!
down the joy!
Just when you thought you were out, you get pulled back in.
What an angle! He anticipated that dash coming in from James Max and Shizu. Oh, a solo kill from Kozen. He's not waiting for the Lord anymore. He's just dancing with the Diamond Force alongside the Eternal Guards as well. Chop Skirt's the only one left, and there's only so much he can do. TNC take game number 1.
Raging Fire pushing out AP Bren 1-0 for TNC. That was phenomenal performance. Yawi gunning for an MVP
Oh my goodness.
as well here on this
Yeah,
one.
they're really just continuing again. They're showing their strength from day one, from that game 2 up against ONIC Philippines before they eventually lost it. It's Yawi setting the tempo, and Lord JM and Lancy, whatever they've drank this morning, whatever was in their water, in their juice, in their coffee, I don't know what. With their connection, their follow-ups are always so on point. The fist break Eternal Guardian combo, and even him being able to, or excuse me, I mean Lancy, being able to make the most out of the Deathly Grasps to maximize crowd control. These two are just so good.
They felt a lot more connected today
Yeah.
than they were yesterday. There was nothing to put out the flames, the fire of the Rising Phoenix.
And Lord JM had a fun time in this one. I didn't think there was anyone who could stop Lord JM here, not even Abyssal Arrows.
It really reminded me of the Barretts that he used yesterday, except that this one, it was a lot less risky
Yeah.
to commit, to pull off. And they were like a little more patient with their timings. And unlike yesterday, it felt like they were really being led by a single caller, but the MVP for that game, it seems to be Zaida.
I got my own personal biases, but you know what, Zaida? You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. You deserve it. 9-0 and 5. Fast as hell, GPM. The dude was just non-stop all throughout the game. Again, paired up with the Jawhead. We didn't always get to see the Jawhead Suyo combo together with the burst that they dealt, but knowing the coverage that TNC Pro Team had on the map with how Yawi was rotating and setting the tempo alongside Land C, that meant that Zaida had a lot of room in the other portions of the map to steal farm, get resources, push, or, well, just find kills on his own.
I think you're absolutely right. Zaida's performance on the Suyo is compounded into double effect by that Jawhead, right? It felt like you saw it in the first seconds of the game. He took that buff a lot faster because of the Jawhead, and because of Yawi, he was able to also secure so much space, so much bush control.
Yeah, and it's sad to see that even when James Pams was just trying to go for the trades because they knew they couldn't fight, TNC didn't even let them do that much. So there were a lot of
Like this one.
connections that were going on all around the map. It wasn't just Lancy, it wasn't just Yawi, it was Lord JM, and connecting with every single member of TNC.
Yeah, after the initial rotations of Yawi and Zaida just being a nightmare together, that's when Zaida, I think by the second turtle, started to split from the rest of the team and started doing his own thing.
Beautiful. The switcheroo that you saw on your screens, it was just pure cinema right there.
How could you let this kind of lineup go into the hands of TNC once again?
Yeah.
I don't think APBR wants to experience the same kind of... I mean, I don't know. Like, there probably was an idea, definitely, behind the last-minute Selena pick, but we weren't able to see it in action. It was the hit or miss that prevailed for the Selena in this particular game.
Yeah, I think they were thinking that, well, maybe they already knew a Jawhead was probably on the way, so they picked up a Selena to somehow be able to get vision to try and temper Yawi's rotations, but that's so risky if you're condition for stopping the Jawhead rotations and him getting into position is to make sure he steps on traps and make sure I hit my Abyssal Arrows.
Yeah.
That's too much of a gamble to take.
Yeah, that's like a soft, just like a soft answer, right?
Yeah, and you know what's solid? Ice. That's a solid answer. Okay,
Keep that train going, because I think all of us unanimously agreed Aurora's the pick here.
We're getting
but they
a-
went a little bit of a spicier route.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a gamble, but it's high risk.
That
Yeah.
was basic matter lecture.
yeah, and it's basic science. It's like those 3 states of matter. I forgot the others. So, another thing that they should have done is not pick the Joy in the first 2 picks. Again, they already know that you don't have to worry about a Joy showing up. They could have prioritized the Harith with them. If they got the Harith, they would have avoided 2 of the fastest snowballing heroes in the same team. They got the Suyo, they got the Harith, they eventually get the Jawhead. That's how you know you're going to go up against a lineup that will bully you and you will be forced to play from behind.
And it was a lineup that was screaming. They were roaring that we have to play from. This is a lineup that's going to play from behind no matter what.
Yeah.
And eventually, with the way it panned out, that's worse for James Pams because you can't play from behind as a Joy, right? It was so hard for the guy to actually move.
Ability, since we aren't entirely sure yet whether or not this is going to be Yaoi's Gatot again. So we're leaving the mid laners for last once more. Oh,
Right?
I feel like AP Brent still think it might be a Yaoi Gatot. So I would also support the idea that they surprise us that it's not.
Yeah, because if TNC Pro Team decides to pick up a Tigreal here, then they can go ahead and pick up a Farsa.
Oh.
Because you're thinking of, the Farsa might be difficult. We're up against a CC Moskov, and especially that Joy. How are we going to make that Farsa work? You make sure you have someone to deal with it. So the Gatot will either stay behind, and then the Tigreal stays forward, or vice versa. You can shuffle it.
Actually, wouldn't mind having a high loss in that lineup if you're going to throw the Farsa in there, right? Something to just equalize and make it a soak,
Oh,
a damage
yeah.
soak.
Yeah,
up on
they
top.
can, and with that, they can do the double revitalize if the Gatot Gacha is going to be slotted in there to alongside the high loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though if it's about the Farsas and all of those long range artillery mages, Chopskirt has made a name for himself too when it comes to using those kinds of mid laners. But let's see if he'll be able to get his hands on one of them, since at this point we clearly see how limited the options are once again. So they might want to show us another surprise mid lane
Yeah.
that hopefully for AP Bren would work against this lineup of TNC so far.
TNC's actually done their homework. They're heavily banning out on that mid lane as well,
Yeah.
which does work out in the end for them. Choskirt, I would have liked to see on his Eve again. I love it when he played an Eve. But there you go, another mid lane ban. Vexana out the window.
Yeah, and as much as we want to see the Farsa maybe in his hands, you have to think of the possibility of being cancelled out by the Avatar of the Guardian and all that, and being the Farsa being stolen away from you. So
pretty good.
TNC, they have a really good draft so far.
I really hope this is Tigreal last pick. That's just gonna mess up the lineup of AV Brand, and that's here. This is where they need to consider picking up a Valentina, and their roamer. They might end up with a Cho, but then you're gonna be up a Cho take. You need a strong frontline roamer.
High loss.
They might default and just go high loss, because a high loss Tigreal works well for TNC. So AP Brand can decide to just take out one of those and then pick up a Valentina.
And I like the Tigreal as well that you pointed out. It will pair well with TNC. Plus, it will just make it harder for the Joy to play.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of Joys just have a hard time playing because they are scared of the implosion.
How do you go in knowing that there's
What?
a threat?
There's the high loss, but they're sticking. They're sticking with the Selena.
They really want to make it work. And for heroes such as the Farsa, when casting their ultimates, I don't think they're moving targets, right? But I wouldn't like to think that that's the only reason why they decided to pick this up again, because it didn't entirely work in the previous game. So Lord JM and Yaoi, they have a lot. They have endless options to choose from, knowing that this is the lineup of
Yeah.
AP
There you
Brand.
go,
Tigreal
Barats
or Cho.
again.
Just Tigreal or Cho.
Tigreal or Cho is great.
I want to see this Gatot flex into the XP, but Barrett would be okay because AP Brand doesn't have the right damage to deal with the Barretts.
Yeah.
Actually,
There's the Cho.
he's back. He's freaking back,
Oh my
guys.
gosh!
Yaoi Cho.
Yaoi is the Cho! And he's back!
This was brought up yesterday, right, on broadcast. Yaoi, despite flying over for the longest time, still has the highest show gameplay in the whole MPL.
He is Cho Man for MPL
Cho Man.
Philippines.
Oh.
So it was a Gatot Gacha flex into the EXP. Just the last call for TNC was what the roamer is gonna be for them, and I like it. I'm leaning towards TNC for this draft right now. AP Brand still very dependent on the Selena hitting the mark.
Yeah.
But my X factor for AP Brand's lineup here is CC. There could potentially do some things in the map alongside some good communication with Kekedot to mess up what TNC wants to do in some engages.
I think Dare has had multiple highlights of him doing solo plays or doing some really important plays all by himself using some. I think before he was known for Terizla and now the CC, there are a lot more of possibilities that he could show us with that, but let's see. I hope it's not too dependent on whether or not he's able to do that.
We shall see, we shall see. This time around, we are on game number 2. James Pancher's running it.
Yowie's signature pick.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
There's the Yowie boy.
Already disrupting and annoying the heck out of James Banks. There's a lot of info for the Suyo.
Alright, so
He
that's what
missed
you want to
this.
see. That's what you want to see with Yowie. Everyone just loves watching this guy play. And it is very effective. Info gathering early on. Just knowing where your opponent is a big deal.
And paired up with the Farsa in the early stages of the game, it could really deal out the necessary damage against your opponents. And this is quite a very similar scenario to what we saw in game number 1. The rotations of AP Bren, they aren't that efficient in the early game. Like,
Yeah.
it's slower, way slower compared to how TNC is able to do it.
Lancy.
Oh, Curse of the Crow. Oh, they knife it.
whoa.
They get the first blood onto the member who we mentioned should be performing a little bit better in this game.
Yeah, but that's respect by TNC Pro Team. They knew what the CC could bring to the table, what Dare could potentially bring to the table, and they said, you know what, let's shut that down early. Meanwhile, AP Brenna has shut down Yowie's aggressive rotations at the bottom lane.
Fairness, that was a really good answer. At the same time, might have been just like a sacrifice play. Just making sure that you have good gold on your jungler again this time around.
So let's see if AP Bren are able to show us a better control in terms of the early game this time, since I don't think they're being that aggressive. They're actually trying to show up a lot more compared to the previous game,
Cool.
but they force out the feathered airstrike early on.
Bit of a miss there on that first one, but did some good damage as Cokester.
Oh, check it out, trying to interrupt as well. The members of TNC taking down the turtle, but they still secure it for themselves. Lord JM goes in, taunts Kekiro as well. There's some really mad sustain coming in from them, but there is the Avatar of the Guardian as well, and Kekidot will not survive that.
Insane zoning, literally surgical. In that engagement by Yowie with the Avatar Guardian in the perfect spot to cut off the exit route.
And Zaida also making sure that he'll be able to land his stun. Good start here for TNC Pro Team. Everything is going to plan for them. And here comes Yowie providing the vision again. Again, Farsa, a hero that is famously blind, and Yowie providing the vision for her.
And they just keep making sure that they know where James Banks is, that Kekidot is really poked down. I mean, he hasn't even gotten his level 4. He doesn't have his ultimate up until now. There's no glorious pathway. Probably just now, but there's the way of the dragon. I think he's been the recipient of it, and he will be bursted down by 4 members of TNC.
So aggressive here. TNC just maximizing this show pick and actually boosting Kozen's gold here, as well as the Suyo.
Kekidot way too deep there. Shouldn't have been there without proper help near him. He is up against a Cho, and there is a high risk that if he's caught out at the wrong time, he's just going to get picked off. Because if the Cho's there, that means either the Farsa or the Suyo are going to be close by. And so far, that hasn't changed. Zaida, Yowie, and Lancy have been a hit squad all around the map.
I mean, look at them now. 4 of them once again towards the top lane onto Dare, and there is no way he will get out of that alive.
Yo, they're doing this like clockwork. Go bot, go top, go bot, go. It's uncanny.
Yep, the Yahweh of the Dragon has found itself home. And Yowie still showing off why this is his hero, why he is the hero or the player most synonymous with Cho.
Cho is him.
Cho is him. And AP Bren are just getting out-tempoed.
Yeah, TNC is very terrifying when they get hold of the early game. They're controlling the pacing and the momentum is clearly theirs, but Chokeskirt, an abyssal arrow to the face. Will Lancy make it out alive? He still has the flicker.
They're low.
But AP Bren might just go for this. There's the glorious pathway. James Pass will be able to cast the electrifying beats onto 4 members. But there's the sustain still from TNC. And the counter Avatar of the Guardian where Zaida still makes his way inside and gets that turtle. And now they're still proceeding with the fight. It seems like James Pass has found his opening. Lord JM, will he be able to survive this? There goes the Yo-Yo Blitz, but they will escape.
I wonder if that was purposeful that James Banks did not use. It wasn't that he could not use it, he didn't use it. So question up in the air of whether he missed it or they just made sure that, you know what, let's just see if we can just go ahead for the counter engage after this turtle instead. But part of me is thinking that he might have missed it, but AP Bren were able to recover just a little bit with getting a kill there.
It's so hard to blame him as well because that is a Suyo. It has multiple layers of damage that you're going to have to play with. And then the fact that you're a little bit behind on level also just doesn't help.
Zaida has pretty much won the retro battle for the entire series so far, up against James Banks.
Even during moments wherein we thought TNC wasn't able to fully position themselves or comfortably control the objectives.
They're back at it.
So now they're in the bottom lane again.
Like clockwork. Even with all the traps that is being laid down by Choveskirt, it's surprising that it's hard to actually read what TNC is doing on the map if you are AP Brent.
I'd like to think that they probably have an idea, but they just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Or you know what's happening, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like that's what we're seeing right now. AP Brent are just trying to find some semblance of an opening. Again, playing it around the traps and the arrows of the Selena. High risk, so far no reward for the decision to prioritize the Selena in the series.
How do you play against that? There's too much zoning, information. And even when you go for opposite trades that are on the map, there's Zaida waiting for you. Avatar of the Guardian onto there. Will they be able to pour all of their resources onto him? The Vengeance is casted. There's the Glorious Pathway as well. But look at all the damage coming in from them. But there is mobility. And there is Shizu going in.
Okay.
But
Scary.
for just a bit, okay.
I clenched. I was like, Zaida, Shizu, whoa.
I wasn't expecting that too.
Shizo nerves of steel on this guy.
Wait, no, what
Flicker's
is
in? Oh my goodness.
Thought we could
What's
land.
happening here?
Choveskirt committed the flicker as well.
We couldn't even see Choveskirt anymore.
They're all so aggressive.
That's just how much range TNC has. They're just controlling every single area in this map. So it's so hard to find an opening for AP Brent at this point. You can't even get trades in terms of turrets or at the opposite ends of the map.
Lancy has just been on fire with this Farsa, not shy with using the feathered airstrike. Aggressive. If he can build the advantage, he will build it. Only a Starlium Scythe built up so far by the Joy, while Zaida is already up to 5.3k. Not that massive of a gold lead, but he does have 2 items with him with the War Axe and Hunter Strike.
Yeah, they're losing out on the map control pretty heavily.
Yeah.
The only upside I can pick for James Banks is at least he still has access to his buffs.
Yes, the
At least for now.
The early shutdown on the XP made a huge difference for TNC. But does AP Brent still want to go for this? They casted the curtain call,
Okay.
but they were too far away. And Zaida, just look at Zaida.
It's up on bot. No resistance whatsoever. It feels like Zaida can do whatever he wants on the map so far.
And just that was enough to surprise AP Brent once more. There will be taken out alongside the tier 1 mid lane turret.
It caught him by surprise because even there was delayed on the Vengeance.
And there's the feather airstrike too. 2 of the tankiest members supposedly are down.
It's good to see him back home, landing those iconic Way of the Dragons, G-Kun, those flickers from out of nowhere. Yaoi is back in the Philippines.
He is Cho, he is him, and there's just no substituting one of the best Cho players of our time.
Alongside that, the other members of TNC Pro Team have been fantastic as well. Lancy, Zaida, Lord, JM, and Kozen. TNC, they are on fire.
I can definitely feel how excited they were to play this way. Now in full control. The Way of the Dragon, as you mentioned. It's so nostalgic, and I feel like a lot of fans are celebrating at what they're seeing. And there he goes again! Taking out Dare and Kekenot too! Oh my goodness, look at that damage when the fight is still going on! And the Spear of Illusion doesn't connect, and Choveskirt falls! James Banks as well! Only Shizu's left alone!
They even missed on the Spear of Destruction. Everything is going topsy-turvy here for AP Brent.
2 games, TNC ended up with a very comfortable tempo-setting roam pick for Yaoi. Jawhead in game 1 and the iconic Cho in game number 2. And TNC has looked comfortable all series long. Lancy and Kozen with their reach, and Lord JM and Zaida with their perfectly timed entries every time.
There we go, level 15. Zaida hit it at 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
It feels so limiting for AP Brent. Like, how could you make a play with this lineup knowing that you're playing from behind? There's little to no setups, but for TNC, there are overwhelmingly endless setups coming in from Yaoi. And even Lord JM, I don't think we've seen him use the Avatar of the Guardian to start things up entirely. It's always Yawi.
For the safety. And it's working out so well for them. Kozen is having a fun time here. There is not allowed to play on the map. Earlier it was James Banks who couldn't walk out. It's now there. Even with Vengeance, yeah, just going for it.
And on to Kekedot. Once more, they burst him down. There will be a trade onto Yawi though, but they take out one of their front lines and they gain access to this inhibitor turret. James Banks from behind, so finds Lancy. Kozen is able to dodge him, but they will still continue to fight. But there's too much damage coming in from those bullets, and they will take down the mid lane inhibitor turret.
As close as possible here. Shizu still fighting. Out in the end.
Could this be a triple? And it will be! But he will fall, but that's already enough for the Phoenix Army! They are definitely on the rise, and Zaida makes quick work of the base! The Phoenix Army bounces back and secures their first win of the season!
And it's a 2-0 at that. The Phoenix Army is burning. They are roaring with fire here in day number 2.
May 4, 2024, the last time we saw TNC Pro Team win a series in MPL Philippines. Scratch that, make it on March 1st, 2025. They have finally won a series.
They started the month right.
They started the whole season,
The whole season right.
Wow. TNC Pro Team winless no more.
That was a sweep. We have to remember that was a sweep.
Yeah, that was a harsh welcome to the MPL for AP Bren. Well, for TNC Pro Team, again, they were hyped up yesterday. The strengths, their best qualities that they showed off in their series against ONIC Philippines, they got a victory with it in their series against AP Bren today. This team is looking so good.
There's a lot more room for AP Bren. We've seen their intentions, but for now, it's time for the Phoenix Army to celebrate. This is their moment. This is their spotlight.
And it has been a while since the Phoenix Army has had anything to actually celebrate. So this is a momentous occasion here, in all honesty.
I'm so excited to hear what they have to say. How long has it been since we've seen them in the winner's interview? Right?
Almost a year, Brenmar.
It feels so good that we're gonna see TNC in an interview and they're not going, sorry guys, we're 8th place again.
Exactly.
I'm so happy to see them finally get interviewed, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So we are going to see this. This is going to be legendary, folks. It is TNC Pro Team with an interview with our host.
Finally back into the winning column is the Phoenix Army from TNC Pro Team!
What a comeback this season, ah! Ang galing! Ang linis ng games nyo, guys. Grabe,
Malinis na
ang bilis,
malinis.
ang lakas.
Mabilis, especially that game number 2. Now I want to know more. Yawi, again, congratulations. First win back in the MPL Philippines. Compared dun sa nakita nating laro, compared from last season, okay? Compared from last season or nung last game nyo kontra sa ONIC Philippines, what were some of the things na napag-usapan ng team heading into this match?
Siguro adjust lang po. Tapos yung in-adjust namin yung ano lang yung early namin eh. Kasi yung game 1 sa ONIC na early lang kami sobre. Pero nung game 2 yun, yung ano lang siguro yung macro lang kasi 1 error lang kami ng game 2, di ba? Tapos yun, adjust agad kami. Tapos review agad pag-uwi sa Bren.
And you guys were definitely prepared for this time around. Now, I want to know from your perspective, ikaw heading back into the Philippines, making your homecoming dito, representing TNC Pro Team, may kinailangan ka bang i-adjust as a roamer? Ngayon na babalik ka sa Pilipinas compared to when you were in a different country or nung naglalaro ka for a different country?
Wala po masyado eh, kasi kilala ko na po siya. Tapos wala po, sobrang dali lang po talaga nang nangyari ng adjustment ko kasi wala na, sobrang safe lang po.
And you know, the confidence is there kasi maganda naman talaga ang pinakita nila in that game.
Sobra. I'm excited to watch them play some more games. Now, we also have Zaida here. Hindi kita nakausap kanina sa All Access. I'm glad you're next to me now. Ano yung feeling mo, Zaida, na pumasok ka sa Season 15 as part of the main lineup?
Masaya ako sa binigay na tiwala ng TNC sa akin na kumuha sa akin na masaya ako.
Of course, they trust you. Ang galing mo, grabe. So, ano yung maaabangan nila sa inyo at sa mga teammates mo? Yawi, you mentioned kung ano yung kailangan yung i-adjust pa, di ba? Pero ano yung mainly aabangan namin sa inyo for season 15?